What's up and welcome back to the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Geddes, joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
This chair I'm sitting on, by the way, I'm gonna be sinking the whole show. It's just one of those chairs that
you
has
look
been around
like a
for
10-year-old
time.
sitting in his father's office chair. Like the back of that thing is so fucking wide.
It's also impossibly blue. Like you have your hoodie over.
Oh no,
it kind of looks fake.
Yeah,
exactly. But with
you can see
it's
like a little bit thinner. It's a little bit thinner, Greg, than you thought initially.
Yeah.
But it's the hoodie kind of widens it out. You know, it's a large hoodie. You know?
Yeah,
got large stature. I have big shoulders.
Well, I built
that's what they say about Andy.
What was it? I guess on Sunday night in a panic, I built a new chair. Razer sent me their new chair.
Oh wow!
Big old fat ass seat, which I need because I got a big old fat ass.
Oh, of course, we have the return of Greg Miller. Please, what was the chair emergency that you had?
Oh, that we're going to talk about
the chair.
I don't mean. I don't want to tease anything. I'm sure Kind of Funny podcast is going to be this week is all going to be about what it's like being a dad and what it means with a newborn. Is just that you don't do anything. You start projects left and right and then immediately stop, and then another emergency happens, and then you come back to the project you were working on a day and a half later. So I was like a moron. I was like, I got the new chair from Razer. I'm going to build that so I have it for Monday shows and be all set. So like Sunday morning, I came down here with a cup of coffee and started on it. But then, sure as shit, Jen cut to 11:30 at night. I'm down here working on this chair. Like, I gotta finish this chair, so I have somewhere to sit on Monday. Otherwise, where am I going to podcast from?
Well, we're happy that your chair has been built and that you're now sitting in it, aren't we? New face of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
When I first joined the call, I forgot that Andy wasn't like home. I forgot that he was out of town, and so when I saw like him in his set and how blurry his background is, I thought that was green screen. I was very confused of why you would green screen yourself into another room.
Well, yesterday on In Review, he green screened himself out of this and put his normal background behind him.
Let me see if I can do this. One sec. Yeah, it was an involved process, Blessing. Here we go. Here we go.
Wow.
There's my interview background.
Holy shit. That's really accurate.
That makes me just so uncomfortable.
Do you just have an image of your empty room? Just like
I ended up during the show.
He's got a lot of free time.
During the show, I found a moment when I left In Review to go to the restroom, and I like took a screenshot of that, and then I just swapped it. A little hot swap, Bless. A little hot swap.
Damn.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Now keeping this visual for one more second. Bless that shirt. That's a good shirt.
Oh, the Rockstar one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it before. I love it.
No, I love it too. I love it too.
They came out with that shirt in 2013. I haven't put on a new shirt since.
They've been updating it in small ways though. They release a new shirt every year that has a small tweak to it.
New label, new print.
If I turn around, it has Dr. Dre on the back.
You can only get here on the Kind of Funny Gamescast that happens each and every week right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or roosterteeth.com. If you want to get it as a podcast, just search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Gamescast and we will be right there for you. If you wanted to get the show ad free, if you wanted to watch it live as it's being recorded, and if you want to get the exclusive post show that this week will be an episode of Bless Who, everyone's favorite game show.
Whoa, it's back.
It's back, baby. You got to go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like our Patreon producers, James Davis, Pranksy, Delaney Twinning, Tyler Ross, First Responder ND, Julian, the gluten-free gamer, James Hastings, Casey Andrews, and Praise Portillo. Greg Miller's back and better than ever. Is that you, Greg?
Yeah, it's me.
You motherfucker.
Well, so no, I mean, for full disclosure, what happened, right, is that I did it as a joke with Nick, where I did the whole thing of like Greg Miller returns the content, Nick should be scared thing. And so I spent company money to pay the company to put that in there, right? And so then I was like, what a great joke. Job's done. And then I'm like, sure, many of our listeners, January rolled around and I was like, I never canceled that pledge, did I? So I had to go in and tell Joey, here's a new fake name. I changed the pledge. Don't worry.
A man of his honor, Greg. I'll never forget that. If you have any dollars to toss our way, we'd appreciate them on Patreon. But if you don't, and you're out there buying video games on the Epic Game Store, make sure you use our Epic creator code, Kind of Funny, and some of that money goes to us, which is fantastic and really helpful. Thank you all for all of your Epic purchases over the break. I know they had their really fun sale, and people have been taking advantage of that, so we appreciate you guys. It really does mean a lot. housekeeping for you. We got a ton of really cool stuff this week, including Friday. We're going to celebrate 7 years of Kinda Funny's existence with a very, very long stream starting at 10 a.m. with Kinda Funny Games Daily on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to play some Mario Party. We're going to play some more Mario Party. We're going to play some other things. I don't know what's a surprise and what's not. So you're just going to have to stay tuned to twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames to find out. But no matter what, it's going to be a damn good time. Greg Miller live from the old Kinda Funny studios. What's up?
Thank you, Tim, in your bedroom. What I need to do is that when we originally pitched the 7-on-7 stream, Andy talked some shit about everybody's golf. And then back down pretty quick because he's a punk ass bitch. And so I've been making fun of him on all the other shows I've done since then where I mentioned Andy. Are we playing everybody's golf?
Oh yeah, I'm about to ream that asshole. Yeah.
Oh my God, Christ!
Wow!
Right.
Holy shit!
I want it on the
everybody.
record. Of course, you are my boss, so that's a big old problem for Kinda Funny right there. That is a lawsuit and a half right there to talk to an employee that way.
Oh man. Well, you know what? Let's take a hard left turn from that and talk about some video games, everybody. Last year, we did a little thing that we like to do every year here on the Kinda Funny Gamescast. Bless your face right there. You just looked so concerned with what was being said. And I get it. But anyways, every year, we like to get together and predict things. There's a ton of different things to predict. But one of our favorite things is our kind of wide open video games annual year predictions that we like to make. Sometimes we nail it. Sometimes we're super off. Sometimes we make really easy predictions to get easy points. Some of us do that more than others. We'll have to wait and see who I'm talking about, right, Greg Miller?
Hey, you play the game to win, number one. And if the prediction comes true and it's a prediction, it's a prediction. So I don't know what you're talking about.
A prediction's a prediction, everybody. So, of course, Cannon over on the Kinda Funny subreddit, every year he always goes back and looks at our prediction episodes and grades us, essentially. And he is the arbiter. He gets to decide what counts as a point, what counts as a half point, partial credit, all of that stuff. So, I want to get into all of those prediction results today, and just a little bit of content guidelines, or I don't even know what I'm thinking about right now. But the next couple weeks of Gamescast are going to be very exciting. We got our game of the year will be next week. We're going to go through Kinda Funny's overall top 10 games of the year, ending with the number one, the big one. And then in the coming weeks after that, we will be doing following episodes, including a new predictions episode talking about 2022. But housekeeping of the predictions results. So these are predictions that weren't made on Gamescast itself. These were predictions made on other shows. A pizza bet was made on June 10th. Andy says Elden Ring will actually come out on January 21st. Greg says it will be delayed again.
January 21st being January 2021.
Yes. So Andy owes Greg Miller a pizza.
You never know. Right?
you do
It's
never know.
January. I won this one. It's over.
Oh, who knows? January 22nd. Maybe they move it up back again, Greg. You never know.
Pizza. You can send it whenever you feel
so
like
on January 22nd, they're going to be like, the game released yesterday.
Yeah, it could be a clerical error. Maybe they.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And then the following day, June 11th, an addition was made to the bet. Tamor says it's definitely coming out in January, and he'll get everyone pizza if it gets delayed.
Wow.
does Tamor know that he owes everyone pizza?
No, he doesn't. No. So everyone watching this right now, go tweet at Tamor H on Twitter and let him know he owes everyone a pizza.
And then also let him know, Tam, you can send Andy's to Greg.
Oh, okay.
How about that? Little pizza debt right there.
Regifting. Yeah. Bless and Jeff Grubb were also there on the delay side, but without a bet. So yeah, thank you, Barrett. Having Kinda Funny tweeted them, letting him know that he fucked up.
I love this Jacksepticeye tweet. That's the first tweet on Barrett's timeline.
No, this is the Kinda Funny timeline. So this is kind of we follow Jacksepticeye.
And then one of the other predictions made was I predicted that someone would leave again. R.I.P. Imran Khan.
So first off, I mean, fuck you. You're yelling at me for making easy predictions. Somebody always leaves off of this thing. Now, this is you know what I mean? Anytime there's the prediction episode, somebody leaves.
Now, Greg Miller.
Yeah.
I don't get points for it. This is just housekeeping. These are just random other bets.
You know, my apologies. You're a fair arbiter of the rules here and everything else. Tamor Hussein from GameSpot.com has joined us for the bad news. Tim, go ahead and deliver it.
Oh, no. What have I done?
Tam, on June 10th, a pizza bet was made where Andy said that Elden Ring will actually come out on January 21st. And because he was wrong, he now owes Greg Miller a pizza. The following day, you came in and you said it's definitely coming out in January, and you'll get everyone a pizza if it gets delayed.
Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Listen, here's the thing. I do not remember making this bet, but I will honor it. If you say it happened, I will honor it. So send me your pizza orders, and then send me your addresses.
Blessing,
and you will get your pizzas.
No, hold on. Blessing does not get a pizza.
Wait, he said everybody.
What? But except for Blessing and Jeff Grubb. You said you're on the delay side, but there was no bet. You didn't want to be participating in bets.
Wow.
Technically, I should say actually, I'm of the Islamic faith, Muslim, and in Islam, betting is haram. So I'm actually not allowed to bet. So I do have an out.
No
technicality. No pizza's free. No, I'm kidding. I will buy every single one of you once you figure out who every single one is a pizza.
Me for sure. And Andy, you tell him.
I mentioned this earlier. Since I owe Greg a pizza, just send him my pizza that you're going to send to me.
This is getting too complicated. First of all, so
I get 2 pizzas. I get Andy's pizza.
Okay, you get Andy's pizza. Okay, Tim, I'm just going to entrust you with getting me all the details for this pizza.
I will
make sure you all get your pizza. Also, Greg, why is there a massive picture of Blessing?
Greg, I'm not going to let him know. I'm going to remind him every time he gets. All right.
How long did it take you to like figure out how green screen works?
Oh, so I mean, it's easy with the tools of Discord. Come on now.
It's a Discord thing?
Oh yeah, they have it in Discord now, Blast.
Oh,
right click on your thing, right, and then you go down there and you change your background.
Oh my, and it has a new icon next to it. Oh my goodness.
Oh, what a disaster the show is. Tam, thank you so much for joining us.
You're all very welcome, and I'm excited to buy you all pizza.
Thank you. Talk to you later, man.
Love you too.
Bye.
I love
the best part is too, we never paid him for all the work he did for us. So it's just like, and now we're just taking the money out of his pocket. Before, net neutral. Now it's all ours.
It's pizza time, everybody. All right. So Cannon says some of the predictions were hard to objectively score. And he left those in blue so we can kind of talk about it. But I don't think it's going to change the course of the results too much. I'm going to start off by letting you know who was in last place.
Yeah.
With 0.5 points. Blessing out of Yo-Yo Jr.
Wow.
No way. Unheard of. I've never felt this before. To be this low on a predictions episode. That never happens.
Forbes 30 undie shitty, you know what I mean? What's happening?
Yeah. And joining you
Nostra dumbass.
with 0.8 points. It's Forbes 30 under shitty as well, Tim Geddes.
Yeah. Forbes got to figure it out.
Yeah. Then at number 2 with 1.5 points, Imran, the Don Khan, R.I.P. So this year, Andy's going to get on the board somehow when we make our predictions. But coming in at number 1 with 3 points, Greg Miller.
3 points.
3 points,
Greg
everybody.
Miller.
What were those predictions?
Oh, we're going to go through.
We're going to get into them,
Don't
everybody.
worry. But let me tell you what an honor it is to once again remind you. All right, this old dog still got some new tricks. You guys all show up. You think Elden Ring. Anybody says anything now, you guys. Any PR person, any video game company says the game's coming out. Y'all believe them. Y'all just sit there and eat the slop. You eat the slop. You're the reason Fallout 76 happened the way it did. You see, you don't ask any questions. You know what I mean? Remember when you're all stoked for Cyberpunk? Eating it. Just eating it. But I'm here doing the real work, all right? Not trusting anybody. I have the eye. Number 1 games journalist, right, Andy? I'm the one out there looking for it. I'm the one checking on it.
So let's get into the big points made here. Prediction number 1, Greg Miller. No God of War this year. He says, I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think it'll make 2021.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
And is that, are you going to give me shit about that? Is that a bad prediction? Because that's, again, you're all sitting there going, oh, well, they said 2021. So clearly it's going to be 2021.
No,
I'm the one there. I'm going, show me the beef, Alana Pierce. That's what I'm saying. And then you know what? They couldn't do it. They couldn't show.
I don't like you being that close to the camera with Big Bless behind you. Like,
I kind of dig it, honestly.
This is like some Attack on Titan shit right here.
So moving on. The next prediction was me. Pokemon Johto versions of Let's Go will happen, named Togepi and Pichu.
If
There
only.
won't be Diamond and Pearl remakes.
I feel like you should get negative points for this one.
I know.
Hey,
That's
I'm
so
out there
true.
trying to make a spicy bet. You know what I mean? Nah, it backfired on me. Imran said he'd go Meryl over Pichu because he's insane. Blessing says this was also my prediction, along with the special edition Switch Lite. So Bless, Forbes 30 to 30, man. At least it's not lonely. You know, me and you, we got each other.
And honestly, like, I'm gonna be honest, we had better ideas than Nintendo had. Because like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, come on, bro. Put those back in the oven. Give us what we want.
Blessing's prediction, where he got 0.25 points for this one. PlayStation announces a new exclusive original Star Wars game in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games titled Star Wars Knights of the High Republic, developed by Bluepoint and Japan Studio. This will all be wrapped up in the announcement that Sony acquires Bluepoint.
Oof.
Damn, I had a lot. I had a lot of right ideas there that just didn't line up
On the right track.
I was on the right track. I was just going the wrong way.
I said I do think it'll be Knights of the High Republic, but it won't be Bluepoint and it won't be exclusive. So we're all throwing a lot of things out there. You get 0.25 for the Bluepoint acquisition. And PlayStation technically did announce a Star Wars exclusive with the KOTOR remake, plus the fact that Eclipse is set in the High Republic era. But the rest
I feel
is
like
wrong.
I should get a half. I feel like that's 0.5.
We're mentioning Star Wars. No, you don't get half a point.
I was very specific about like PlayStation's gonna announce a Star Wars High Republic game. We got basically all the Bluepoint being acquisitions. We got all those things happening in basically different forms.
But
like
you also,
if
you,
a rock falls left instead of right.
No. You worded it specifically, a new exclusive original Star Wars game. PlayStation announced a Star Wars exclusive remake.
With
and
Republic
we
in
don't
the
even know
title.
if that's a timed exclusive or not. So I'm just
saying, if a rock falls left instead of right, I'm getting the full point.
Prediction number two.
That rock. I don't know if the rock would help you there. Yeah, you know.
The final prediction for this one was Imran saying Sony buys Bluepoint and remakes Metal Gear Solid 1. So he got half a point for that one.
It sounds like we should quit extending these bets and adding on more to them. I think we're doubling down for extra points. Like Imran could have just gotten a full point there, but he had to say the Metal Gear thing and just fucked him up.
Andy, the spice. You got to bring the spice.
I understand you all want to get horny with it. And trust me, I love getting horny, but I just, I want points.
Greg says by the end of the year, Avengers will be seen as a good game. People will enjoy it. There will be a lot of content. We'll be playing it. It'll be back on track. There will be new drops. And Imran will say, quote, Avengers is pretty good now.
Oh.
Not hooey.
I forgot what game that was. Hooey.
So this was a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and Imran's not here. So this one is a TBD. This is a TBD. I will settle with Imran later on. Motherfucker.
Imran, the Don Khan, came to my house today, drove 40 minutes to deliver a letter of Imran's Avengers prediction decision.
We know I want to make a presentation to Imran. I don't feel like this has been given adequate time to, you know what I mean, to see what he's going to say. I think there's a case. I would have liked to have testified.
You've already won the prediction.
Is that what he tweeted out about?
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted out about
I think
doing
you're an
a
idiot,
joke
Greg,
and driving 40 hours.
Because Red made me cookies, so I'm on their side now. I'm on their side.
So without even reading it, you know Imran. You know what I mean?
His side.
Imran didn't give it a chance, ladies and gentlemen. Imran's here for the bit. Imran wants to be spicy. Tim probably called him and said, come over here and be spicy. Let's read the spicy letter that's based on not facts, based on opinions.
That's a really nice
part. That's a really nice part.
Despite a number of major improvements in the game, starting with despite.
That sounds like a rejection letter that you got from college.
Not good, yeah.
Despite a number of major improvements in the game, the very slow as hell content map.
It's not looking good, Greg.
Well, I mean, if Tim can't decipher it, you know what I mean? This feels like there might be room for interpretation with the words he's using.
I'm not trying to, I ain't throwing any stones because I have the worst handwriting in the world. But I am struggling.
Did he write that?
Let me full screen it. Let me full screen it. I'll read it myself here now. Hold on.
Tim, do you think he was driving while he wrote
Despite a number of major improvements in the game, the very slow as hell content map and lackluster Spider-Man content won me to the
Led me
to the conclusion that ... Avengers by the end of 2021 is bad. See, that's just
wow.
You know what I mean? I would expect more from fanbyte.com. You know what I mean? A little more objective journalism from Imran Khan.
Well, I can tell you that this bite, it was amazing.
I'm
a fan of that. Yeah, I don't know. It was close.
I was waiting. You're usually good with a pun.
I know. Too much going on. It's hot. It's cold. It's a whole thing. Anyways,
wait,
sorry,
is the cookies
Greg.
hot?
Nope. It honestly shouldn't have even said anything. It was really cold in this room. I turned the heater on. Now it's way too hot.
Gross.
And I'm feeling feelings. You know what I mean?
I know what that is.
Anyways, sorry. Moving on. Sorry, Greg. You did not get the point.
I do love that when you flipped over the card, the part that says Avengers is bad was written in like the most clear and
You wanted that to be fucking clear.
You wanted no room for interpretation.
Page 1 was a struggle. Page 2 was written clear as day.
I love it. I love you, Imran. My prediction: all 3 remaining Smash Brothers characters will be released in 2021. I'm going to name 6 characters, and I only want points if the final 3 are all from the 6 that I named.
Wow.
Sora, Ryu Hayabusa, Crash Bandicoot, Doom Guy, Captain Toad, Rayman.
Damn.
Egg on my face, everybody,
Wow.
but I get to play as Sora, so I can't even complain. I said no partial points, so I get no partial points. Blessing said, I can believe that he'll get 2 out of 3. Ryu, and the other one's a toss-up. So
That should give you points.
you don't get points on my predictions. No.
I'm just saying.
That
That sounds like I'm right a
You
lot.
get a tip of the hat for that. You get a tip of the hat for that.
Yeah.
I'll take the tip.
But he didn't
Blessing
even get
says-
2 out of 3, right? Or did you?
I got
I didn't.
Sora.
I
Oh,
just got Sora.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. For some reason, I thought Ryu was in it. I'm thinking of the other Ryu.
Blessing said GTA 6 is announced this year. We'll get a tone
Damn.
piece establishing a sunny scenic setting.
Damn.
Resembles Vice City.
Prediction. Damn.
But grittier. At the end, the zoom out shows the whole country. GTA 6 is Vice City, but GTA Online, released separately, will slowly release more locations with a 10-year plan. No. Imran says Switch Pro this year, named new Switch or whatever, with a version of DLSS upscaling technology and launches with Breath of the Wild 2. No, did not happen.
Close though.
No. Greg Miller. God, I fucking hate you. No Switch Pro this year. You got a whole.
Fuck you. Like,
that
what,
it?
you're acting like I'm like, video games will be released this year. The prediction before me is that the Switch Pro will be released. The prediction before that am I high? Avengers will be good? What are you talking about? I brought this spice and I won the competition. I deserve credit for that.
Greg is doing the prices right. Fucking $4.01.
Yeah. $1, Bob.
bullshit.
Don't
Also,
get
that's
on
the
his
second
side,
time I've
Blessing.
made that joke on content this week.
Yeah, Greg said no Switch Pro this year. He gets the point because he did specifically say Pro. He did not say a new Switch, which would have lost you it. My next one says the next Switch is this year, and the Switch will be the highest selling family of consoles in 2021. The next Switch, while 100% backwards compatible, will be closer to a new console than just a Pro. I got a half point for that because there was a lot of info there. Mainly that the NPD Group has announced that the Nintendo Switch remains the US best-selling console of 2021. Blessing. For Zelda's 35th anniversary, we'll get Switch remasters of Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. A limited edition Zelda-themed Switch with new apparel. A Zelda
Why do I keep
Battle
going?
Royale.
Y'all
Mario
talk like
35.
this is just some dreamland where all this stuff happens.
A Breath of the Wild 2 release date of spring 2022, which will also be when the Switch Pro comes out. I said that's
I blame the
unbelievable,
pandemic on that one, by
but
the way.
it's too much.
I blame the pandemic. If the pandemic didn't happen, we would have gotten all those things. We would have
It
gotten
just-
more of those things.
It hurts because, like, at least the remaster should have happened. You know, bless. You know what I'm saying? For,
I mean, we got
for Zelda's
Skyward
35th
Sword.
fucking anniversary, and all we got was Skyward Sword. Out of
I
all
will
of
say,
them.
going
But
through
Bless,
that,
you also made those predictions while in a pandemic, not
That's
like
true.
before you could have predicted one would have happened.
we didn't know about Delta and Omicron. Things were starting to look up just a little bit. We knew that a vaccine was around the corner, and so like things were starting to look good. But like I stand
Flattening the
by
curve.
I stand by the mindset because like with a Zelda 35th anniversary done right, we should have gotten remasters of at least more than Skyward Sword. Zelda 35 is not an off prediction based on us getting Pac-Man 99, Tetris 99, and Super Mario 35. And like spring 2022 for Zelda Breath of the Wild and a Switch Pro sounded likely. This
weird Nintendo decision.
You're right.
Yeah. I also want to debate this 0.25 that Blessing got. Because he's getting points for the Skyward Sword remaster, the Zelda-themed Joy-Cons, totally understandable, but then also Game & Watch. He didn't predict a Zelda Game & Watch. He predicted a Zelda Online Battle Royale similar to
Have I not
Mario
lost
35.
enough there?
So I'm just saying, maybe we should knock that down to 0.2. I'm just, I don't know, this seems a little high.
Even still, he'd be light years ahead. Oh, no, he's way behind, actually. Sorry, my apologies. He'd be light years behind. Oh, damn, you fucked this up, Blessing. I'm just so used to you being in the running. There you are, right at the bottom of the fucking list.
The thing is, I listen to you on podcasts a lot. Over the years, you've always done the thing where it's like, oh yeah, we'll get the incremental points, and I've internalized that as a good idea. Turns out that is a bad
incremental
idea.
With like reasonable things. It's a new Switch apparel you're talking about all of a sudden. What are you come on.
Easy points.
I want it.
Nintendo fucked it up. Per usual, where are we at here? We're at Imran. Microsoft makes a major Japanese acquisition in the vein of Koei Tecmo or Platinum Games. I said I still think it could be Sega. No, didn't happen. 0. Big 0. Prediction 4. No Last of Us Part 2 factions this year. And I said, does it ever happen?
That was
and
me.
Greg
I said
says,
that, and I got the point.
Yes? Question mark? Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah. No.
Microsoft will acquire Deep Silver. I said that. And I get no points because that did not happen.
But Deep Silver did get acquired by Embracer Group, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a while ago, though, right? That was last year.
Wouldn't we have stopped him of like, I don't think Embracer Group's going to sell Deep Silver.
But I could also see us letting that prediction slide by because
who the fuck thinks about Deep Silver?
May 2021.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I would toss that there. That team deserves half a point there.
Koch Media.
I said Microsoft.
Yeah, but you said they'd get purchased. You know,
I like fucking myself. You know,
Jesus.
I like keeping it spicy. Blessing says Sony's new San Diego studio will be unveiled this year, and they're working on a new Uncharted game that will either be Lost Legacy 2 or another type of spin-off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait a second, it kind of got revealed, right?
Well, it got reported. When did we do these predictions? Was that before the reports, like the Jason Schreier reports? Because like I was spot on for the most part right there. It wasn't revealed.
You weren't. Nothing was unveiled.
Nothing was unveiled, but I'm like right about everything there.
I mean,
I want partial points.
What, for a Lost Legacy 2 or a spinoff? I don't know.
Well, I don't think you deserve shit because none of this is real yet.
We got the confirmation of San Diego studio doing the thing, and also like what was they working on?
They were trying to do Uncharted, and then they were like, "Don't do Uncharted, do Last of Us," and they started doing Last of Us, and then Naughty Dog took Last of Us back over. All rumors, speculation.
All right, I'd
give him points on that. You know what I mean? But I'm not the one. I'm just the guy who won. I'm just the guy who won. I'm not the one who goes over to the scoreboard, takes a little number out of the back, Andy puts it over to 1, counts the balls.
Outside of rumors, what actually happened in this prediction that this year?
Well, this prediction was all reveals, and it was revealed through rumors, not through Sony.
I mean, but
there was give him minus points for that.
Damn.
Imran says Square will release a playable Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 demo, which will be a thing that stars Zach, saying it'll probably be attached to another game. And I said, I think if it happens, it's going to be attached to a Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to next gen. Nope, came to next gen. Had Intergrade, did not have this. Prediction 5. Greg Miller says Halo Infinite gets delayed until 2022.
Damn.
Ooh, close.
Close.
I said my gut tells me this is true because they know they can't fuck this up. And Bless says, but what else does Xbox have this year?
Turned out they had Forza Horizon, IGN's Game of the Year.
They had a lot. Age of Empires, Psychonauts 2.
Greg, what about calendar year 2022?
Fiscal. Yeah, a lot of things going on there, yeah. We use a Roman calendar. I was clearly talking about Gregorian. Come on.
As they're naming it, yeah.
Tim says we get 3 games of the same indie social moment and streaming caliber as Among Us and Fall Guys. He gave me a provisional 0.3 because of Valheim, which had its moment. But people were trying to like fight for me on the Reddit saying like, oh, Halo, whatever. I made it very clear in my thing. I'm talking about indie, and I specifically said like Animal Crossing wouldn't count, like as a moment. I'm talking about these like indie smaller games that are blowing up on Twitch.
I feel like Inscryption was, especially during the month of October.
Yeah, but like I feel like there's like a social element to the games, like the multiplayer side of it, the streaming side of it. That is what I was talking about. So 0.3 for me. Blessing. Hideo Kojima reveals a new project. It's not Silent Hills, but it's weird and creepy. It's a smaller episodic release that leans into breaking the fourth wall and making players work together to solve horror puzzles similar to PT. But it will have an overarching narrative that spans a season of releases. It's not the only thing Kojima's working on, but we'll hear more about his other projects later.
I still think all that's true. I just got to move that forward.
It sounds like Tim just read a news article on Games Daily.
And I said, I love that, but where does it live? Does episodic work in 2021 if it's not linked to a Game Pass type service? And Blessing says it'll be $5 $20 PT length experiences that sell because it's sold as a weird Kojima art project. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, now
it hasn't been unveiled what Abandon's about, so maybe that's it. Maybe Blessing gets to that point there.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe. But also to tweak that last part, right? Like Jeff Grubb was the one who's been talking about how Kojima is like signing deals with Xbox to do a thing with the cloud, and so I take everything about that and shift it to whatever Xbox's cloud project with Hideo Kojima. I think that's what that's going to be.
Imran says, I think Spider-Man 2 gets a tease at the end of the year.
Whoa.
Damn,
wow.
Good job.
Probably just a short tease like God of War, but I think it's further along than we realized and is coming in the next 1 to 2 years. And then Greg just adds on for fun. I think you'll see the black suit.
Sad.
Crazy that they're also making a Wolverine game. Like, it's so crazy.
Did you hear this rumor over the break that for Spider-Man 2, they'll have symbiote variations for every costume?
Whoa.
So imagine every suit from like if it was like Spider-Man 1, right? You have all the suits, but then like you toggle the symbiote version of it on and off. There's just a rumor. Who knows if it's true, but that'd be awesome.
Sounds cool.
And it does sound like the kind of TLC they'd put in their game.
Yeah. And then getting into just some post-show leftovers that aren't scored just for funsies. I said Hellblade will come out this year. Nope, didn't happen. Blessing agreed with me, but again, we are horses' asses. Greg said there will be a Parasite Eve announcement, and I said, what?
This is in the throes of Parasite Eve mania, as we call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who could forget?
Greg said Blessing won't crack 10 platinums this year. He was at 10.
I think I agreed with that.
20. He won't crack 20 platinums this year.
Greg said Blessing won't crack 20 platinums this year. At the time, he was at 10.
I probably got 3, I think, this year.
I'd love to know, but as I just tweeted, I go to your psnprofiles.com/MercCity64. The trophies are hidden. So we're back to this now. We're back to this game.
They've been hidden for a while too. I've been glad that nobody's been noticing.
Well, I had to go take care of my son. I'm sorry, all right, but I'm back on the job now, and
where is he? Can you show us him
for this? No, Jen watched the thing I made into a fake baby.
Blessing says 2021 is the year of Sonic. We'll get a new Sonic 2D game this year, Sonic Mania 2, and a new Sonic 3D game announced. It'll be Sonic Adventure 3. And I said, you're crazy. So here we are. Sonic Frontiers, bless.
Sonic Frontiers looks tight. I wasn't there when it was revealed at the Game Awards on the stream, so I didn't get to like gauge your excitement for it. But like that trailer got me hyped. I'm actually looking forward to Sonic Frontiers.
It's hard for me to be excited for it based on what 3D Sonic's been in the past and what Breath of the Wild kind of like Me Too versions have been in the past. Yeah. And I can't fathom that working together, but I hope I'm wrong. I'm excited for the movie.
Les nailed it during that one Games Daily we did. It is going to be the Pathless and Solar Ash in Sonic form.
That has been my prediction, is that like when they say Breath of the Wild, it's Breath of the Wild in the way that like I think Breath of the Wild takes a lot of inspiration from Shadow Colossus, just in terms of like open world, you can kind of go whatever direction you want. Shadow Colossus is kind of linear, but in a way that like in Solar Ash or Pathless, you're going through, you're solving open world puzzle platforms, you are like taking out the bosses in the areas. I think it's gonna be more of that than Breath of the Wild. And I hope it is, because that'll be tight.
I said last gen Cyberpunk development gets dropped. Greg says that's spicy. No. And I said Bloodborne remaster. Didn't happen. And the question was, will Last of Us Part 2 get a PS5 release? And I said yes. released alongside Factions like Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remaster. Bless said yes, bundled with Factions like Ghost of Tsushima / Legends. And Greg said only if an alternative option is upgrading the PS4 without a separate purchase.
I'm happy to report that my trophies are now public.
Wow.
There we go. Wow.
Greg, you hear that?
We won, everybody.
And well,
Big
because
news.
of that, Canon did leave one final message at the end, which is let Blessing host Sega's next showcase. So there we go.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was pushing for that. I think I pushed during that. I pushed for that during like a post show, and I forgot about it. But yeah, Sega, if you need somebody to help announce the next Sonic game, I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
Hit me up. You know my email.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I do have 13 platinums.
There you go. Before we get to the rest of the show, though, let me tell you about our sponsors. What would it feel like if we were finally free of high interest loans or credit card debt? Well, Upstart can help you make that final payment so you can get ahead. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Whether you're looking to pay off credit cards, consolidate high interest debt, or fund some personal expenses, Upstart can help you get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Rather than looking only at your credit score, Upstart considers other factors like your income, current employment, and credit history to find you a smarter rate. One of my really good friends did exactly this, and it helped him out so much. Just consolidating all of his debt into one place allowed him to focus and just take care of it. And now he's debt free thanks to Upstart. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today. And when you go to upstart.com/kindafunny, that's upstart.com/kindafunny. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/kindafunny. There's so much going on right now, whether it's stuff you're excited about, like traveling, or stuff you'd rather avoid, like traffic. You can't always control the vibes out there, but you can control the vibes in your own head when you've got a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears. With Raycon's new everyday earbuds, they look, feel, and sound better than ever. One of my best friends, James Burke, he loves these things. He's always out there when he's running, when he's playing his baseball. He's a baseball coach, so he does a lot of those two things. And Raycon's new everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They've got an improved rubber oil look and feel and optimized gel tips for a perfect in-ear fit. Plus, you get 3 new sound profiles, so the sound is great no matter what you're listening to, whether it's a podcast like this one, or some hip-hop, or some rock, or anything in between. Right now, Kinda Funny listeners, you can get 15% off your Raycon order at buyraycon.com/kindafunny. That's BUYRAYCON.com/kindafunny to save 15% on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/kindafunny. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like leaving your keys in your car while you run into the gas station. You're probably fine, but it could be a disaster. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, you're basically giving someone else the keys to your personal data, like your passwords, your financial details, the passwords to your financial life. And it doesn't even take much technical knowledge for someone to hack you. But ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your data and the world that'd take a hacker with a supercomputer over 1 billion years to get past. Plus, it's super easy to use. You just open the app and press a single button. I've been using it. Kinda Funny's been using it. It's keeping our internet safe. And I love that. I love it so much. I love how easy it is to use, and I love that I just don't even need to worry about it. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. And you can get an extra 3 months for free by going to expressvpn.com/kindafunny.
I want you to know, Blessing, that couldn't have come at a better time, because I had drafted the response to my own tweet at Forbes. Perhaps we rethink the 30 under 30 in honor, but now it's done. It's dead in the water. You saved yourself.
That. Thank God. I would be heartbroken if they stripped away that honor from me because I didn't make my trophies public.
Imagine if they made it a big public thing, though. Like they tweeted, like formal statements and everything.
It's just one of those things. Clearly, they didn't vet as closely as they should have, right? And once you have one crack like that, you got to go, oh, shit. Like we got to make sure everything's tied up. They take them all down, figure it all out.
Mm-hmm. Boys, I want to talk about what video games we've been playing over the last couple weeks. I want to start it off because I got to play a lot of something I've been looking forward to for many years. I finally have it in my hands, and I love it more than anything, and it is the Analogue Pocket. This is one of the coolest pieces of tech I have ever had the pleasure of playing with. If you do not know,
that looks so good.
Analogue is a company that really cares about archiving video game history, making sure that original cartridges for all the old systems are playable in modern times, like up to the most up-to-date kind of tech side of things possible, while still maintaining what they originally were. So it's not out here like up-resing anything. If there were pixels that existed, that's how they want to show you it. So for this, they finally did a handheld one, which is the Pocket. It plays Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games. You can buy adapters that let it play Game Gear games and other portable things as well. But it does play original cartridges, as well as you can put a micro SD card in there and right now playing a limited amount of things. It's going to be jailbroken at some point and you'll be able to play whatever you want. But it is freaking gorgeous. So
God, I love that.
It's hard to show on camera like this, but it is one of the most impressive screens I've ever seen.
It looks hot.
So it's 1440p. And what that means is it's taking the original Game Boy pixels and multiplying them so that it gets up to 1440p high def resolution while still maintaining the original art of the first game. So it's not adding anything. It's just kind of making the resolution a lot higher. And it is so stunning to play with. And it reminds me a lot of the Switch OLED, where I was saying a couple months ago, it's like playing some of these games for the first time. Like, it is just so crazy how much more that the visual fidelity and just like colors and vibrancy adds to the experience. And going back and playing a lot of the original Game Boy games that I haven't played for 30 years in some cases has been so much fun. And what's really cool about the game I'm showing off here is Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. There was a ROM hack version of it to colorize it. So the original game was not in color, and someone went in and made it all color, like accurate of what it would actually be. And I just bought this off of eBay and I've been playing it.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to be able to bounce through things. I also got one of these EverDrive carts where you can just like put all the ROMs on it and everything and just, like play through. So I have like the entire GBA and Game Boy and Game Boy Color collection on this cart, and you can just cycle through it on here. And it is so freaking cool to just be able to see the different games. Thank you, Barrett, for bringing this up. Pretty simply, actually, I want to show you on mine. You can switch between different visual styles. So there's the pretty like up-resed version that just comes. Can you show off my screen real quick?
I got you.
Yeah, that's showing off this. But if you hold this button and switch over, it makes it look more like the original Game Boy Color, where it's kind of hard to see here, but there's like the lines and shit. And if you are playing an original Game Boy game, you can switch it over and it has the green. You can make it look like it's playing on a Super Game Boy. You can make it look like Game Boy Color, or just Game Boy Pocket or whatever. And it's just so fun to kind of just switch between everything and like see what looks best for each of the different games. But pretty much my entire break has just been having this thing by my side, playing through all the old school platformers, beating them just one after the other, play through Pokemon Blue for the bazillion time, play through Pokemon Crystal. And it's just so damn fun to just have this thing. And they pulled it off. There was a lot of delays. It's like over a year delayed. But they really made something special with this. It's back ordered to hell right now, but you can check it out if you just Google Analogue Pocket, go to their site. You can still pre-order it, but they're backed up into 2023 at this point.
Yikes.
But as you can see here, like they're playing F-Zero on the GBA, and the GBA games have a different resolution, so it doesn't fill the whole screen. But they look fantastic. Whether you're playing GBA, Game Boy Color, all of them are so rad. But my favorite so far has been the Game Boy Color games because it fills the whole screen. This thing is sturdy as hell. It feels like a polished, like professional piece of tech. It doesn't feel like a toy at all, and it's like unbelievable that a Game Boy can look this good. But I highly recommend it to anybody that loves portable games, that loves Game Boy games, that has a big collection of their old cartridges. Like, the nostalgia trip is freaking real, and like it's just so cool to bust them out and see where you're at. Although prepare to have your heart broken if you haven't played some of your Game Boy games in a while, because the batteries probably died and your saves are probably gone. But yeah, really, really cool shit.
I've never been so jealous of seeing people with a piece of hardware in their hands, because like I didn't pre-order one just because I can't imagine me going back and playing some of the old Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games that I love, just because I know that like they don't necessarily age as well, right? Like like they sometimes can feel like pared down like NES or Super Nintendo games, but then seeing people actually post images of their handheld on Twitter and seeing people post, like even you holding up, right, Super Mario Land to the camera makes me go, goddamn, like that device is making those games actually look better in a way that makes me really want to try that thing out.
Yeah.
Also, how do the buttons feel on it?
They feel good. I mean, they're not the best buttons I've ever had on a controller, but the D-pad's really nice, and the 4 face buttons are they're quality. And then you got the shoulder buttons. They very much feel like GBA SP buttons. So that's cool. One of the things that I don't love about it right now, though, is you're pretty limited on button mapping, which is always something that I'm a stickler about, and I just don't understand why they don't just let you do whatever the hell you want. Seems simple enough. But the firmware update they just put out did change it a bit where you can make it play as a Super Game Boy game as opposed to a Game Boy game, and that switches the B and A from being the left and bottom to the bottom and right, which is a absolute, or I said that backwards, but you get what I'm saying. Total game changer, because it's the difference between running and jumping in Mario with your thumb one way or the thumb the other way. And so that's kind of cool. And you can kind of switch depending on what game you're playing. But I do think that a little bit more customization would be appreciated. But otherwise, like, that's pretty much my only downfall. I guess the other thing would be a weird technicality, but Game Boy Advance games play in the different resolution because that's just how they play. Game Boy Advance screens were a different shape. So even if you have Game Boy or Game Boy Color ROMs on a GBA cart, they play as if they're playing on a GBA because it's real hardware. So Game Boy games aren't going to be full screen if you're using a GBA cart. So I'm going to buy a separate Game Boy Color cart for Game Boy Color games. Yeah.
This is confusing. Okay, but I think I get it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On your thing of a million Game Boy games, do you have Extreme Ghostbusters Code Ecto 1?
I do.
No shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah? You play it yet, brother? You gonna play it tonight for me?
I have not played that yet.
Okay. I'd like you to play it tonight. Let me know how it holds up. I remember, back in college, broke college student, went to Sam's Club. And I walked in. I was like, if they have,
dude, that's what I'm saying.
If they have Extreme Ghostbusters, I'm gonna buy a clamshell Game Boy SP, and I did, and they did, and I did it.
What color is the blue one? Because it's beautiful.
Yeah, this is definitely like up-res in some way to where they make everything smooth looking, and it looks like cock-a-doo-doo, man. Like there's no pixelization. Everything just looks really smooth. Like, and there's a lot of people that tried to do that with old tech back in the day, where it was kind of looked down upon when you could see the straight edges of the pixel art, and so they tried to smooth out in ROMs, and it just looks terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about in terms of
there it is, guys. There it is.
Oh my god.
Imagine in terms of Antler House playing that right there. That was my life, Andy. That's what I did.
Game Boy, dude, Mario Tennis and Mario Golf on my Game Boy Color back in the day. Get out of town. Come on.
Yeah, like going back, I've done the thing where I've like downloaded emulators on my PC to play Game Boy games, and that's where I've had that moment, Andy, where I'm like, "Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna let these games live in my head as opposed to like trying to go back." But you know what Tim's talking about with the way they like, I guess, multiply the pixels to actually make the games look a bit better. That might fix so much of it for me, just because like I think so much of it just comes down to playing these games that are made for such a small screen, playing them on a monitor is just not the way to go. But like having that in my hand and having the games even look better on that small screen seems like they'd make those games really shine. So
that's the most interesting thing. I don't have the dock, so I can't do this, but they do sell a dock as well that allows you to connect it to a TV. But because it's 1440p, it's going to look dope as shit on your TV as well.
Tim, so how about the Metroid games? How does
they're pretty. They're damn pretty. I mean, that's the thing is like Metroid 2 looks really cool because it's full screen. The GBA games are cut off a little, but man, the colors pop. They've never looked better. Like this thing is so cool. I am so happy I bought it. It comes in all white and all black.
The Sonic GBA games on there?
Oh, plus, of course, I beat Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3 over this break. Okay.
I'm so glad that I don't care about this because it could be a dangerous hobby to get into. Because like whenever I see Carboni or Drucker or anybody getting into hardware collecting and really cool novelty type handheld devices, I fantasize about living that life, and I go, no, Andy, don't. You're never gonna touch them. It's gonna be a money pit. That's never gonna. You're never gonna see the bottom of it.
It'll be like every classic game you buy when it gets re-released and you play for 30 minutes, an hour, and then put down and never pick back up. You know?
I mean, that's why
I still have a Super Nintendo Classic totally wrapped up and sealed in like protective bubble wrap because you never know. That could pay my kids' tuition one day.
Andy,
Me and Carboni have been going back and forth on text like almost every day. What you've been playing? What? Oh, this game looks good. You gotta try this one. I'm like, it's fucking great. I love it. What's up, Les?
I was saying, Andy, join me on the Playdate train. I think the Playdate's going to be the next big wave that I can't wait for. That might have less. I think that might have less investment than like going back and like getting back into all these ROMs and hunting down these games and like going through that rigmarole of re-uncovering your childhood. Playdate, you're just looking forward. It's these cool small games. These are cranked plan. It's
gonna sit on the shelf and look cute for a bit.
I can't wait for that thing.
And then I'm gonna lose it.
Moving on from the Analogue Pocket, Bless, you've been playing GTA Online, the Dr. Dre DLC. Please tell me all about that.
I have been. So like for those who might not be in the loop, right? GTA Online in December dropped their new big DLC package, and it's basically they're bringing back, or they brought back Franklin from the GTA 5 single player story, and this is like one of the first big story expansions taking place actually after the GTA 5 story. And so it's been like 8 to 10 years. Franklin is now like on to like bigger and better things. He has like an agency business that he runs where he interfaces with like big artists and big celebrities and helps them like get their shit done. And so with that, Dr. Dre hit up Franklin because Dr. Dre in this DLC has like misplaced his phone, or it's like his phone got stolen. And you as your GTA Online character, you have the option to like basically buy a franchise of one of Franklin's agencies, and you partner up with Franklin to like go hunt down Dr. Dre's music because like with him misplacing his phone, basically like that leaked out copies of these unreleased songs, and these unreleased songs are actual like real Dr. Dre's music that he recorded specifically for the GTA Online expansion. So it's like songs featuring a bunch of artists. Anderson .Paak is in there. I forget who else. Anderson .Paak. I think Eminem might have a song in there. I still need to play a little bit more.
Yeah, there was an Eminem Dre song that I was being teased. I imagine was part of this project.
Yeah, there's one that I definitely listened to on YouTube, but I didn't hear it in the game. But I also think that there's some more stuff left for me in there that might be available to me. There's a song with Snoop Dogg in there, and it's like what you expect from like modern Dr. Dre stuff. But I will say that I think the songs are pretty dope. Like it's some pretty good Dr. Dre shit in there. But yeah, like as your player in the game, you're basically going through these story missions and tracking down Dr. Dre's music and like having these cutscenes where you are listening to the music in the game. And I think the dope thing is in the way that they do it, right? There are basically like three bigger missions where you're hunting down 3 specific tracks. And you have setup missions to get to those missions. During the actual missions, they have like these climactic moments where it is in one of them, there is like a DJ that has one of Dr. Dre's songs, and he's playing the song during this outdoor party. And toward the end of the mission, you're pulling up on the party, and like you're hearing the music as you're pulling up. You're like, oh, is that Dr. Dre? Like, it's the Dr. Dre song playing on the speakers. And you go through, you do the GTA thing where you shoot everybody up, and then you hunt, and then you like hunt down the music and grab it and like take it back. But honestly, like it's pretty cool. Like in GTA Online, they have expansions all the time, but usually it's more content focused than actual like story content focused. It's usually things like I talked about the tuners update that we got in August, which is basically a bunch of different car stuff you can do, right? You can go to like this car showcase, you can do new types of races, you can collect new types of cars, and it's more focused on the actual items in the actual like gameplay modes and content in the game. You don't get many story drops in GTA Online. And this was like one of the rare ones where it's like, not only is it a story drop, it's a story drop with Dr. Dre, and playing through it, it was really fun. It's not super substantial. It's not like you're playing a single player DLC story that has like these twists and turns. And it's a story that like has a bunch of like depth and character development and all this shit. It doesn't really have all of that. What it does have is the return of Franklin, and also Lamar is in there. You have some back and forth and some fun cutscenes and some really fun and funny jokes that they throw in there. and then you have like the cutscenes with Dr. Dre, which for the most part feel phoned in, almost literally. Like there is a
you hear the bus go by outside.
Yeah, well, there's like 2 or 3 cutscenes I'd say that have Dr. Dre actually in them, where like you can tell like, okay, yeah, they modeled his character. I think he did mocap for those. Like he looks really good. He looks better than every other character in those cutscenes, which I think is hilarious. But then also there are other moments where it is you are driving home because you just got one of Dr. Dre's songs, and it is your Franklin calling up your character to kind of like get the debrief or whatever, and talking to him and be like, okay, cool, 1 song down, 2 to go. Oh, Dr. Dre has something he wants to say. And it's Dr. Dre saying like 1 or 2 lines of like, hey man, thank you for getting my song. 1 down, 2 to go. Basically repeating whatever Franklin just said, and then handing the phone back to Franklin. It is very apparent where it's like, oh yeah, I guess Dr. Dre is a billionaire. It's probably really expensive to get that man like actually to do voiceover work for the game. But you guys did what you could. But with that, like I think it's a super novel thing. You know, I had fun with it. It only took me probably like 5-ish hours, I'd say, to play through the initial amount of missions that they give you. I think there's still some more stuff that I can dig into. And with the agency, like whenever you buy a new big business in GTA Online, you can then kind of like use that as a way to funnel money, and you can repeat those missions. Or if I wanted to, right? Because like to do the missions, you had to pay to buy an agency, and that's like $3.5 million, which is a lot of money in GTA Online. But if I wanted to, like I could take friends through it because I have an agency. And so if they wanted to see the Dr. Dre missions, I can be the guy that's like, yo, okay, let's go through them because I still make the money either way. But yeah, I've been having a lot of good fun with GTA Online.
That's awesome. I'm a little shocked that this happened. Like it kind of seems way too late and random to have like story-based stuff in GTA Online, like with Franklin. Like all of it just seems weird. Like when you're playing it, did it feel weird, or did it feel like this kind of makes sense? You could see them doing more of this in GTA 5/online.
I think it makes sense because GTA Online always does have expansions coming to it. It's a game that is always evolving and always getting stuff added. But I think just because it's been around for so long, the conversation around it just isn't as active. But I think the player base is still super active because there's always stuff to do in GTA Online. The amount of content in GTA Online is ridiculous. The only thing that I'd say does feel weird is that when you go into GTA Online now in 2022, it feels like an old game in a lot of ways because you're playing a game on the PS5 that was built for the PS3 and Xbox 360. And so with that, you have like, you know, matchmaking issues. You have like just a bunch of clunkiness in the controls and a lot of the systems and like in the way that the game works, right? When you get in there, it feels like so much of it is held together by duct tape, and they're not able to implement so many of the things that now modern games as a service games have brought into their games, because we've had a decade to learn since GTA and Destiny and other games have come out to figure out what that stuff looks like. So much of GTA Online is kind of set in stone because it's built for that old ass hardware that, yeah, when I go in and I try to have somebody join up on me and we're just spending 20 minutes figuring out, all right, are you part of my crew? No? Okay, well.
I can't believe it is still like that.
What a nightmare
Kevin tried
it was.
to get into this years ago at the studio. It was the same thing. It was like, all right, fuck this. You would have, I understand. Like, it's exactly what you're talking about, right? This is a PS3, Xbox 360 game.
Think about all the party modes that never happened.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw it during the break, but it was announced that GTA Online GTA 5 is the most watched game on Twitch in 2021.
Holy shit, I didn't realize that. That
sounds about right, because it's a lot of the RP streamers, a lot of the role-playing streamers, and the ones that were playing it it was XQC, who was the biggest streamer in the world and is averaging 70 to 80K viewers at all times. And back during all of his role-playing drama where he wasn't following by the rules and he was getting banned and kicked out of the server and they'd let him back in, it was always a big event whenever he'd go back in, because you can't just kill people in that game in role-playing, and he would often just like say fuck the rules and just cause chaos. So that doesn't surprise me in a whole lot.
But yeah, like so much of that like so much of those issues still persist, and the next gen the new gen version of GTA 5 for PS5 and Xbox Series X is supposed to hit, I believe, in March currently. I think that's where they've delayed it to, and you would hope that fixes a lot of the issues, right? You would hope that would speed up things like load times now that we have an SSD, and you would think that would help out with a lot of things. But I think also part of it is just that the online infrastructure is not great as well anymore, and like that's not something that you fix with new hardware. I think it is I think now they are biding their time for GTA 6. Yeah, I think it's a systemic thing, and I think it is the thing of for us to rebuild this thing from the ground up in the way that we would need to do in order to make this work like a modern game. It probably isn't worth for what it would take for them to just wait for GTA 6 to come out, which you have to imagine is only a few years away. You would think maybe 3 years away, 4 years away. And I think
5 years, 6 years,
5 years, 6 years, a decade. And I think they're just biding their time for that and just releasing content in the meantime because yeah, the GTA 5 player base is still huge, and I'm sure they just have money to throw around to do shit like getting Dr. Dre in the game, and so why not?
Is it weird to you that they did the Dr. Dre stuff 3 months before the next gen version's planned?
I bet. Well, if you remember, the GTA 5 next gen version got delayed out of November. Got delayed into March, and then the GTA trilogy came out like the week that GTA 5 was supposed to come out. I bet that it was planned for after the next gen version came out for whatever reason. I don't know why they wouldn't have waited. I don't know why they wouldn't have moved it. But yeah, if everything went as planned, I don't see how this wouldn't have came out. Yeah, the month after we would have gotten the next gen version, and that probably would have done a lot for that version being hot because like that is supposed to be free to play as well. And so if you imagine that game being free to play, that coming out, like that would have been big, but maybe that's a signal that they have something else.
It's such a weird idea. Like who approaches who in this situation? It's so random.
A big GTA Online fan.
It's so random and out of nowhere. I don't know.
That's how I mean. If you're Rockstar, that's the shit you do, right? Where it is just like they're sitting around like, all right, let's do something. I have an idea. What if we got can we get Dr. Dre? I mean, yeah, probably. We have enough money. Go get Dr. Dre.
And as like, and Tim can probably attest to this as well. As like a big fan of GTA, getting Dr. Dre to drop new music in this game is huge because GTA San Andreas is a game that takes place in California in the 90s, right? That game was filled with Dr. Dre music. And that's how I got exposed to so much Dr. Dre music and ultimately became a fan of like, or like at least ultimately got into West Coast hip hop. That was through that game, and that was a lot of that was Dr. Dre. And so it's kind of a full circle thing. It makes sense. Even in GTA 5, right? There's a lot of Kendrick in there, and Kendrick has like was like signed by Dr. Dre. A lot of TDE music in there, like a lot of that, and a lot of GTA 5 has a lot of its roots in like being in the music space. And like I think GTA now or Rockstar has their record label that they're doing too. They do a lot of weird and interesting shit with music and with hip hop and all that. So it kind of makes sense.
Fist in Vice City and shit.
Yeah, like it kind of, they have like a blonde radio in GTA 5 that they added in an update that is hosted by Frank Ocean.
So cool.
Yeah, like and
that's the whole thing with Rockstar and the Houser brothers, right? Like they came from the music industry, and that they went this direction with it. So like their ties are still there. They still have a love for that.
Yeah, and so like it makes sense. And I think the idea of Dr. Dre releasing new music, because he doesn't release music often, right? The last Dr. Dre album that came out was Compton. After that, NWA movie came out. And that was years ago. That was like what, half a decade ago, if not more.
Straight out of Compton. Detox coming
straight
soon.
Out of Compton, yes. Wait, what was that? Detox too soon? Is that what you said?
I said Detox coming soon.
Detox coming soon. Yeah, but like and that's the thing is Dr. Dre rarely drops music, and so for him to drop music in GTA 5 is fucking crazy. And yeah, it's good music, and so like I fan out about it. Of course, like if you're not into any of these things, I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting into it because like it's an uphill battle to get into the missions, and then once you do the missions, they're just like regular GTA missions. It's like the regular gameplay that you expect. But as a fan, I'm like, dude, this is fucking awesome. I was having a blast doing it.
Hell yeah. Andy, you've been playing Inscryption. I want to hear about this.
Yeah, man. Inscryption is a game that I've just been hearing a lot of scuttlebutt about, Greg Miller. A lot of scuttling and buttling about. It's
everywhere. You can't throw a rock on Twitter and not hear scuttlebutt right now about Inscryption.
Exactly. Inscryption was Polygon's Game of the Year, and a close personal friend of mine, Alana Pierce, if y'all know her, it also is her Game of the Year. And this is generally not my type of game, much like Loop Hero was. But I said, you know what? If Loop Hero could have made a fan out of me, so can this card deck building game. And it certainly did. And it's one of those that you want to play to figure out really why it is people's game of the year. It is a roguelite. It is addicting in the sense that every time your cards aren't good enough, you restart and you hopefully have better things to help you on your next journey. But aside from that, you can get up from the card playing table and kind of figure out some escape room type stuff in the room that you're locked in. And there's a lot of mystery. There's some bigger stuff happening in the world that is really, really neat. This is by Daniel Mullins Games, and apparently Daniel Mullins has sort of a track record of kind of fucking with the gamer quite a bit whenever he is making a video game.
I'm to fuck with the gamer.
This dude, like I always knew going into this there's something more to this, because I've kind of just heard from people like, whoa, you hit the holy shit moment, what's going on? And this did not disappoint, even though I knew that something was coming. And it is really, really cool, and it just continues. And so far I'd say I'm about maybe 12 to 15 hours in or so. It's really good. It's a really damn good game outside of all the cool spectacle stuff. It is just a really well built card game that I'm so bad at these types of games, and I'm just really bad at strategizing and understanding, like, building a deck, and how I just don't play board games or anything like that. So a lot of the concepts still are really, really new to me. But once you start to get the flow and you start to understand, similar to, I think the best connection point I can always point to is Hades when it comes to roguelites, because so many people played it. And similar to Hades, when you select different rooms to go to that might give you different sort of upgrades, you have the same thing here, where once you're done sort of battling on the map, you are given sort of that the overall, I meant to say battling on the in the match. You're shown sort of an overhead map area, and you can go left if you want to get this sort of boon that will upgrade all of these cards, or you can go right where you can sacrifice a card to get a better upgrade. There's a lot of really cool things to do. And again, I generally don't care about these types of games, but it's certainly up there for me when we get to game of the year type conversations.
You mentioning that you got 12 to 15 hours of it surprised me, because I didn't realize it was even that long. Because I put in a few hours, probably 4 to 5 hours, I'd say. And like I've now that we've gotten like this far of it being out, like I've heard people talk about like, oh dude, once you get here, like shit pops off, or like, oh, there's an oh shit moment. And I was expecting it to be more of a like smaller game. I wasn't realizing that it had that stuff in it. And so like for me, playing it with what it presents itself as, which is just like the card game, like the roguelike card game mixed with seemingly like an escape room with like horror elements to it. I was like, damn, this is actually really good. You know, the card game is super engaging in a way that reminds me a little bit of Hearthstone, but like condensed in a way that, for me, as somebody who I started going down that rabbit hole of Hearthstone like years and years ago, and didn't want to get too deep into it because I could see the depth, I could see how many hours I could put into that. Playing Inscryption, I was like, okay, no, this seems way more contained. This seems way more easier. This seems like it has a finish line. So maybe I'll beat this in 8 hours or whatever. To hear that you're 15 hours into it and still playing it, I think is really cool, and also makes me want to go back like to actually see what else is in there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is due to the fact that I'm just terrible. So I died a lot. Just a lot of the core game aspects, like people in Twitch chat are like, Andy, remember this? And I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot that's a thing.
You're right.
There's so many different
I fucked it up.
There are so many different gameplay elements and mechanics that get added on, much like any roguelite. As you keep on dying, you get more and more powerful and you become more and more capable. But yeah, it's really special in the way that it does. You do have that sort of holy shit moment, and it doesn't end there, and it's really, really neat. And
game also makes me nervous a lot in like its presentation and like the sound design. It's a very as a card game, it's like very eerie and kind of freaky, and like maybe one of the more scarier card games I've ever played, because card games you don't think of scary, like in the way that like, you know, color will change, or like it's just the whole vibe of the game will change when you get to like a certain stage or whatever. It's kind of creepy, and like you'll have shit like your cards will talk to you and they have personalities and shit. Like I wasn't expecting that stuff. It has a lot of cool presentation stuff.
It's apparent to anybody, even if you didn't know really what the game was going for, that there's something bigger happening here. And that's always a really exciting feeling for me. And especially when you're just playing a card game that is essentially, I don't know, like people kept saying it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh game. I just kept comparing it to Pokemon because you have animals and this animal can fly, so it can attack the user as opposed to attacking the cards. And each card sort of has their certain attributes to it.
That's very Yu-Gi-Oh.
Then you get a card, Tim, that like will be like, oh my God, don't put me down, please. Don't use me here. And it starts talking to you and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's all these little animated cards. And then it'll tell you like, hey, there's another one of us in this room. You got to go find us. And there's just, it's really, really cool. That's not spoilery at all. So don't worry, because it just keeps on expanding and getting more and more impressive. But just the core gameplay of that is worth it to me, where I'm like, damn, this is a really, really good game. And I'm addicted to sort of the gameplay elements of it. And then you sort of hit that moment and go, oh, okay, wow, this is really damn impressive. So shout out to Danny Mullins for making a really, really cool video game that I hope to beat, because I'm definitely going to keep playing it and hopefully beat it in the next couple days or so.
And I hope
not too spooky for you.
No, it's more eerie. I wouldn't say like there's no jump scares or anything like that. It's just the way it presents itself. If you've seen the trailers, you see those sort of hands reach out to you. That's like whenever you die, the hands reach out and then they sort of throw you and lock you up and then allow you to come back as a different card. It's really, really cool stuff.
Very cool.
Highly recommend. Game of the year recommendation. 2 thumbs up.
Closing out the episode here, Craig.
Yeah.
You've been on break. I'm sure we're going to be telling a lot of the games you've been playing and stuff in future episodes as well. But Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, and Odyssey had some little content updates. You've been playing those?
Yeah, I got caught super off guard. Random day in December there. I woke up and it was, hey, tomorrow, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, my favorite Assassin's Creed featuring Cassandra, who you just saw there with the brown hair if you're watching the video, is getting a brand new quest that ties into a new quest coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So doing this crossover thing. And if you're new around here or just don't need a refresher, I adored Assassin's Creed Odyssey and put well over 100 hours into it, platinumed it, did a whole bunch of different stuff in it. Just love Cassandra as a character. And then when Valhalla dropped, put 35 hours into it so I could talk about it on a review, but didn't fall in love with Eivor the same way I fell in love with Cassandra. So I wasn't really like locked in to keep going, and played other things that fall and fell off of it. And so this dropped and got announced. I was like, oh man, you don't need to twist my arm. I'm always ready to go back to Odyssey. Re-downloaded Odyssey again, jumped in, played through it. I thought the quest was going to be very in your face about like, hey, this is Eivor, or hey, this is the tide of Valhalla. The Odyssey quest is very much just setting up why Cassandra would be going to Valhalla, which you kind of would have already known from playing the game. There's no spoilers there. But it was actually kind of touching the way it starts, because it's very much like Cassandra at the end of her journey. We've gone through all the stuff of the game, and then she just goes on vacation, and she kind of falls in love with being vacation. So her friends have to show up and get her to go back out to being the Mythios out there and doing all the things. And then it gets into the Assassin's Creed, like what's going on. There's, the pieces of Eden and all that jazz. And then by the end of it, there's a really like moment for her of like, all right, like I'm going off on my quest, that will take me the rest of existence, because again, she's clearly very old to show up in Valhalla, and I'm not trying to spoil stuff, and that sets it off that if you want you can go play Valhalla. Okay. Man, whatever. Odyssey's been out long enough, and it's also, who cares. So then for Valhalla, I was very much like, I'm going to play the Odyssey stuff. I'm not going to re-download Valhalla. I'm not going to go that far into it. Blah blah. Finished the Assassin's Creed Odyssey content, and I was like, fuck, man, I really do want to know what happens next, and I really do want to see Cassandra in a different setting. So re-downloaded Valhalla.
It's kind of cool, by the way.
It's awesome, and it's like such a marketing move that, like, because this way this goes, like, oh, I'll definitely play Odyssey, I won't play the Valhalla thing. All right, you know what, I'll play the Valhalla thing, but as soon as I'm done with Cassandra's stuff in Valhalla, I'm going to delete Valhalla and not play Valhalla. And of course, I finished the Assassin's Creed Valhalla Cassandra content, and I was like, fuck, I forgot how good this game is and how good this game feels to play.
Yeah.
And so then it was off to the races. And so, yeah, I booted Valhalla back up at 35 hours on the save clock, and now I think I'm at 60. Like, It's been the thing that I've just been playing here, because it's the perfect baby life right now game, where what I mean by that is it works all different ways, but usually what it is I'll turn on the PlayStation and I'll be like, all right, cool. Benjamin's asleep. I'm going to get a couple hours of video game time. That usually means I'll get 15 minutes. He'll wake up. I'll remember a chore. Jen needs help. This is happening. Someone's here to do something. And then it goes the opposite over like where I'm only going to be able to play a few minutes. And then I end up playing for 3 hours because he sleeps or it's, nighttime or whatever. And so Valhalla is so great at melding to that schedule. Where when I first booted it up, I probably, after I did the Cassandra stuff and, saw her and got reintroduced to Eivor, I probably then put my next 10 hours, my next 12 hours were just, you know what? I'm not even opening the map. I am here. And if you remember the way they do Valhalla, which is polarizing to some, I liked it a lot. Even on the map, there's just colored dots that tell you if it's a mystery or if it's going to be, wealth, if it's going to be money or armor or something like that. There's just dots on your map that you can go to. I would just go to the next closest dot. And I probably did that for 10 hours, just going around, leveling her up, because again, the
Greg, you muted yourself.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear us?
Sorry. I tapped the microphone. The way they do the attributes and the trees there and where you put your skill points in, like so detailed, so minute, so interesting to unlock different things. And so I find myself now with this way more powerful Eivor from where I left off. I'm going back to challenges that were too difficult for me the first time. I'm, chasing Thor's armor set right now and doing all this stuff. I still am in this weird spot where the story just doesn't grab me. Like I like Eivor fine as this lone wolf character that I play her as. And I think they do a good job of when you run into one of the quote unquote mysteries, which are like basically like really small quests or not even small sometimes, but really small quests, not the story stuff that you're doing. That's great. And the way she interacts is fine. But then going back to my camp and progressing the story, like, especially after putting another 30 hours in or 20 hours in to go back to camp and be like, oh man, okay, so what was the story from last year? All right, yeah, the brother, I vaguely remember that. Okay, I'm doing that. Like getting back into that, I'm not as enraptured with it as, but like again, the gameplay of Valhalla is so much fun. The leveling up, the challenge, I think, of some of the bigger mini bosses you run up against and like the people you're out to actually assassinate, the hidden ones. I'm having a great time and it completely caught me off guard. And I think it's, just hit at the right time and hit with the right kind of content.
Love that. Well, thank you, boys, for another fantastic episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. The very first of 2022, but not the last. We have many more episodes coming. We'll be back next week with our Game of the Year episode. It is going to be a super fun special episode. I don't want to spoil anything yet, so you guys are just going to have to tune in to find out what we're doing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're about to do the Patreon exclusive post show. We're going to play the first episode of Bless Who of 2022. So if you want to watch that, which I highly recommend, you got to go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. But otherwise, till next time, love you all. Goodbye.